If you're a business owner doing somewhere between 2 and 20 million in revenue, there's a good chance you've heard the term fractional CMO lately. And if you're like most people, your first thought was probably something like, is that just a fancy word for a marketing consultant? Fair question. The concept can feel confusing. So today I'm going to walk you through the most common questions I get, give you real answers, and help you figure out whether it actually makes sense for your business. Let's get into it. Question 1. What exactly is a fractional CMO? A fractional CMO is a senior marketing executive who works with your company on a part-time or contract basis. Think of it like getting a chief marketing officer without the full-time salary, the benefits package, and the equity of a traditional C-suite hire. The key word here is senior. This isn't a freelancer or a junior person. You're getting 15 to 20 plus years of depth applied to your business. Think about your fractional CFO or CPA. You don't have a full-time CPA in your office every day. A fractional CMO works the same way. If the same concept applied to marketing leadership, you get the brains without the massive permanent overhead. Question 2. How is this different from a marketing agency? This is the #1 question I get. Here's the simplest way to think about it. An agency executes. A fractional CMO strategizes. An agency is great at running your Google ads, building your website, and doing your SEO. They are doers, and you need doers. But who's telling the agency what to do? Who's making sure the work actually connects to your business goals? Who's looking at the data and saying, hey, we need to shift budget from paid search into content because cost per lead is climbing? That's what a fractional CMO does. They provide the strategic direction. They're the coach, not the player. The problem usually isn't execution. It's that nobody is driving the bus. There's just a bunch of disconnected tactics. A fractional CMO fixes that by bringing a cohesive plan to the table. Question 3. What does a fractional CMO actually do day to day? This varies, but generally, they do a few things. First, they'll audit everything. Your SEO, lead flow, sales process, all of it. They need to understand what's working and what's not before they can build a plan that actually sticks. Second, they'll build a marketing strategy tied to your actual revenue goals, not vanity metrics or getting more followers. We're talking real, measurable outcomes that connect directly to your bottom line. That's the priority. Third, they'll manage your marketing team and vendors. If you have an agency or internal person, they're leading them. They become the head of your marketing department without you having to build one from scratch. You get the leadership without the hiring pain. And fourth, they'll track performance and adjust. Marketing isn't a set-it-and-forget-it thing. Data-driven adjustments are key. A good fractional CMO is constantly looking at the numbers and making changes based on what the data is telling them. Question 4. How much does a fractional CMO cost? Let's talk money. A full-time CMO at a mid-sized company is going to run you between $200,000 and $350,000 a year. That's salary, benefits, and bonuses. And that's before they've spent a single dollar on actual marketing campaigns. A fractional CMO typically costs between $5,000 and $15,000 a month, depending on the scope and hours. So you're looking at $60,000 to $180,000 a year for someone with the same level of ability, but at a fraction of the cost. Compare it to the alternative, paying 3 times that, or trying to be your own CMO while running the business. Growth stalls when you DIY. Question 5. How do I know if my business is ready for a fractional CMO? You're probably a good fit if you're doing at least a couple million in revenue, but you're not sure if your marketing is working. Or if you don't have anyone internally who can own the strategy, or you've been burned by agencies and aren't sure what to do next. You're probably not a good fit if you're a startup with no revenue, or if you're just looking for someone to run your Instagram. Strategy without execution dollars doesn't go anywhere. You need a budget to work with for these systems to scale. A good rule of thumb, if you're spending more than $5,000 a month on marketing and can't explain the ROI, you need a strategist. So that's the quick and dirty. For a lot of growing businesses, it's the smartest way to get senior leadership without overcommitting. If you're not sure where to start, that's normal. Drop a comment below with your questions or reach out and we can talk. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. I put out content like this regularly to help you make smarter decisions. See you in the next one.